already it's saved. Okay, so now the planning hierarchy is created. So now once the planning hierarchy is created, okay, you will be created. See, we created the planning hierarchy, and we gave all the, what do you say, proportion factors also. Okay, all the proportion factors, everything we have done. Now the next one will be creating the planning type. So what is this planning type? Already we discussed.
Hello.
Sir,
I am having a question.
Yeah.
Like in the infrastructure, we have taken sales organization, distribution channel, division, and material. So in the first go, we had selected the combination of sales organization and distribution channel, and below it we had chosen division, and below it we had chosen material codes. Means it was made at something 3 level. So if we want, we can do it in this way, that at the top sales organization, and below it the next level can be distribution channel, then below it division, and below it material.
Yes, yes, can be done. Right. Yes, yes, very much possible. Yes, yes.
Sir, there is one more question. One more question is there, that regarding division. I think one material belongs to one division.
Okay.
So, for example, there are two divisions, 10 and 20. So against division 10, I can enter only those material codes which are made at division 10. Otherwise, it may give error.
Yes.
So in your case, you had ensured that division 10 or even whatever were there, so those materials were respectively extended to those divisions.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we'll be creating the planning type. So we'll be creating a planning type. Okay, so yesterday we discussed what is a planning type. Planning type is nothing but a table. It's an Excel table kind of thing where we did the planning. So planning type defines the content and layout of the lines in the planning table, as well as the mathematical operation, which are called macros. We'll discuss what is this macros and all. Okay, so a planning type is always created for an information structure. Okay, now here for an information structure you can create n number of planning types. There is no limit. Okay, for an information structure you can create n number of planning types, whatever you want. There is no limitation. Okay, so now this is the planning type. Okay, so this also we discussed yesterday. Okay, so let's say this is the information structure you have. In the information structure you have all these key figures. Now salesperson want to see some key figures, and production person want to see some key figures. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry, some call has come. Okay, so now you will be creating the planning types. So it's basically the table. It's a table kind of thing where you will assign all the key figures. Okay, so different departments in the organization can have their own planning type, own table for the same information structure. Okay, so let's do it. Let's create the planning type. Create the planning type. So what data you will enter in the planning type? Okay, that you will understand. So let's go to our SAP. Let's create the planning type. So planning type, what is the transaction code? The transaction code is MC8A. Okay, so go to MC8A /MC8A. got disconnected. Huh? I think it got disconnected. Yeah. Let me log in again. What is the password? Let's okay. So MC80, this is a transaction for creating the planning type. Okay, planning type create. So always your planning type name should start with Z. Okay, so Z Kumar, I'm creating this under test. Okay, so I'm creating Z Kumar underscore, let's say 99. So this is my planning type. Always custom planning type name should start with Z. Okay, so enter the planning type. Okay, then the moment you click on the enter button, it will ask you for the info structure. See, it is asking for the information structure. That means always your planning type is created with reference to a information structure. So what is our information structure? S888. Enter the information structure. Continue. So now it will take you to the planning type header. Planning type header. Okay, so we are here. We are here. Okay, so you need to determine the horizon. All those things you need to determine in the planning type header first. So you enter the text description for this. I'm just entering the same as the code. Okay, now from when you want to start the planning. Okay, so I want to start the planning from next month onwards. So this thing you enter. Okay, now your future periods. What is your planning horizon? Planning horizon, this one. Planning horizon. Okay, so that you will decide here. So let's say I want to do it for next 12. Okay, and I want to see the historical periods. Let's say I want to see any historical data. That if you want to see for how many historical periods you want to see the data that you want to enter, you will enter over here. Okay, and then what is the macros and all we'll discuss in a minute. What is this macros? All those things we'll discuss in a minute. So this is how you define your planning horizon. And if you want historical periods also, you want to enter the data, then you will activate this checkbox. Otherwise you will not enter this one. Okay, now once this data is entered, you just click on the button continue. Now you will go to the layout. It will take you to the layout. This is the layout, nothing but your Excel file kind of thing. Okay, now here you will add the key figures. Okay, so here from total your key figures, you will add the respective key figures what they want to see in the planning type. Okay, so in our information structure, how many key figures you have? We have only two. So that you will add it over here. I'll add it. Okay, just click on the button add structure row. So you have the key figures. So now only it is showing only two key figures. Why two key figures? In our information structure we have only two key figures, sales and production. Those are showing here. So I am adding those two. Sales added. Now next one I am adding one more. I am adding production. Both I am adding here. Okay, so this is how you create the planning type. Okay, suppose let's say salesperson want to see only sales key figure, then he will add only sales and he will save it. Like that you can do whatever the key figures you want to choose, you can choose. Okay, now once this planning type is done, you will be creating the macro. Okay, so what is macros? So macros in SOP, you use macros to perform calculations involving several lines. If you try to recollect yesterday's class, yesterday what we did, we entered sales plan, and then what we did, we copied that sales plan to production by using some function, right? That is nothing but a macro. Yesterday we used a standard macro. Today we will be creating our custom macro. That's what the macro. Okay, so a macro is a mathematical operation that consists of sequence of instructions. Okay, these instructions are carried out when a macro is executed. So it is useful to define macros for frequently required, sometimes complicated and series of instructions. Basically these macros will save your time. Okay, macros will save your time and eliminate the possibility of typing errors during the planning process. Okay, so basically they will save your time. Okay, so planning standard macros you will be creating like this. You'll be creating like this. So it's like a writing a code kind of thing. Okay, so that macros you will write. So from the planning table itself, you can write the macro. So just go to on top. There is a one option macro. Go to macro, create. You click on the button create. It will take you to this pop-up box. So here you give a name to it. Z_7_99 macro. Give a description. 7. I want to copy sales data to production. This is the macro I'm creating. So click on continue. You'll be getting this screen. Okay. So here what I want to do. I want my sales to be get copied to select the operand. Okay. I want copy line sales data to be copied to production. Okay, production key figure, and finally my result should be production. Okay, I am writing a simple macro. And writing a macro comes with experience. You cannot learn it over time. Writing different macros comes with experience. Okay, so as you gain experience, you will get to know how to write a macro. So here what macro I have written, whatever the sales data is there, that should be get copied to the production data, production key figure. That's what I have wrote over here. Okay, so now once that is done, you wrote the macro, and then what you do, you save the macro first. Okay, so I wrote the macro. Okay, now go back. Okay, now for a particular planning type, you can write n number of macros. You can write one more macro also. You can create if you want. There is no limitation. Okay, so now once we create the planning type, we create the macro, everything done. Now I'm saving this. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah.
Sir, like in your PPT, you have shown that we can have separate file for production person and separate file for sales person. So in this case, in a single file, we have created the figures of sale as well as production. So if required, we can create for the same infrastructure. We could create two planning type also.
Yeah. That's what I was referring to. That's what. For the same information structure, sales people can have one planning type, production people can have one planning. There is no limitation. For the information structure, you can create n number of planning type.
And so secondly, you are saying that in the current case, you had created the macro that whatever sales figure is there, that should be copied into production, and final result needs to be called as production.
Yes.
So if I have created one macro, then what purpose would it serve if I create n number of macros? Because what I think at a time only one macro can work.
See, here in our training we have we kept only two characters, two key figures. Right. But in real time you may have 10, 20 key figures.
Okay, for every key figure we would be writing separate macro.
If you want to do some calculations, then we'll write macro.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So now where are we? We are in the macros. We have created the macro. Done. Now what we will do is, once all done, what we will do is, now we'll start the planning activity. Just 1 minute. Now we can start the planning activity. Before that, now what we have done is, we have created the proportion factors across one level. We have created for proportion factors across one level. Now I will be creating the proportion factors for the entire level. I will be recalculating this. So this is also a one-time activity. Okay, so what you do is, you go to calculate proportion factors for the entire infrastructure once, MC9B. We are at the last step of the planning, MC9B. This is also one-time activity. So go to MC9B, enter. Okay, so give your information structure. So determine proportions of lowest level nodes of consistent planning. So one time you will calculate the proportion factors across the hierarchy in the information structure. Okay, done. Proportions of details calculated for all planning levels. So that is done. So now we are done with all the planning activity. planning activity. Now we will be starting we have done with the design activity. Okay, now we'll be starting planning. So from here onwards, it's more or less same like our yesterday's activity, SOP, standard SOP activity. You create the planning, okay, then you calculate your production forecast, and then you copy the from inactive version to active version, and then you transfer your planning data to demand management. Okay, so these
Sir,
things
can you again explain what was the meaning of this calculate proportional factors? Means can we see that what proportions it has calculated for?
Let me tell you. We have given the proportion factors in one level, right? Right. Now I want my proportion factors to be recalculated across the levels. That for that, if you want to do that, you will do this.
Okay, something like you had given the example of cycles that total cycle this much, female cycle this much, male cycle this much, then sport cycle. So last percentage was calculated.
Yes.
Okay. So in system, can we see it also that what percentage it has?
I'll show you that. I'll show you that.
Okay.
So now we'll be doing the plan. So from here onwards, it's more or less like same thing. MC93. Transaction codes will be different, but your process remains the same. So go to MC93. Create planning and flexible planning. So here you have to mention the planning type. In our yesterday's standard SOP, when you go to the transaction itself, system will automatically pick the planning type, standard planning type. But here you need to enter our custom planning type by using which you want. Okay, so enter here. So now you will go to that screen. So now first you will enter the parameters, 1000, and what distribution channel we used, 10. What distribution channel we used, 10, right? What was the one I used? 10. Yeah. Okay. Now you click on the button, enter. So now it is asking for the versions. Are you able to see? Now it is asking for the versions. So why the version by default coming 0? Because this is the infrastructure just created and we are doing for the first time planning. That's why the version by default it is 00. Okay, cut. Now your planning data has come, planning table has come. Now the next question is why the planning period is starting from month 10? Because the planning start I have given it as 10 and there are only 12 months. Why 12 months is there? Because the planning horizon I have given it as 12 months. That is why only 12 months is getting displayed. As a consultant, you should know from where, which place, which data is getting having the effect that you should. Okay, only 12 months is defined. Okay, so now I'll enter some sales forecast. Same way. So let's say let me enter 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. Okay, now let's enter 35,000. 35,000. Now how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me enter another 25,000. Okay, or let me enter another 15,000. Okay, so next 6 months, sales people have given this forecast, sales forecast. Now I'll convert this to production forecast. Now you will use this macro which we created to convert this sales forecast to sales, this data to copy to this production key figure. So what you need to do is just go to edit macro. The moment you click on the macro, system will show all the macros created for this particular planning type. Okay, so just go to edit macro. Okay, so it is showing only one. I have created only one. So select this one. Now the moment I execute this data of sales should get copied to production. See, it happened automatically. Okay, now you might have understood the importance of macros. Okay, so it will do some automatic actions. That's all. That is the importance of macro. Okay, now the next important thing is the moment I enter the data at sales organization 1000 distribution channel 01 level, automatically the data get distributed to down levels. What are our down levels, sir? Our down levels are division and then material. Automatically the data get distributed. Okay, so it is get distributed to division and material. Division and material. Okay, so now if you click on the button down, details button, you can go to the next level division. And here I have not executed any extra step. Automatically the moment I enter the data, I entered the data at this level, it gets distributed to the down levels. That is what it is, automatic disaggregation. Okay. If you go to yesterday's class, if you go to yesterday's PPT, standard SOP PPT, if you go, the main difference between standard flexible planning and standard SOP is, of course, we are using planning method, right? So in the planning method, yesterday we used level by level planning. So we did aggregation and disaggregation as a separate step. I went to a separate transaction, there I did the disaggregation. But here in the consistent planning, which we are using planning method, automatic aggregation and disaggregation will happen. That means data will automatically get distributed to the down levels. That is what you need to understand. Okay. See, in the real time we will not be executing these transactions. Users will execute. As a consultant, you design this and you will give it to them. So you should know all the concepts. So the moment I enter the data at this level, it will get distributed automatically. Okay. So you need to click on this button, division. So details. There is a button having arrow mark downwards. Okay. You click on that button. See, now data has come to this level. This is the division 02. And we have one more division. The division, if you want to see that data, click on the button next detail. You will go to the division A1. Okay. Now under the divisions we have next level is material. So if you want to go to that level, again click on the button, details button, which is having arrow mark downwards. So now you are at the materials. In the A1 you have the materials. So in the particular level, if you want to move, you have to use these buttons. Okay. If you want to move across the levels, you have to use these buttons. Now if you want to top level, then you have to click on the button total, which is having arrow mark upwards. So now you go to the one level, top level. So this is how you move across the levels in the consistent plan. Okay. See, now data is got distributed automatically to the down levels. So if you go to next level material, this is the metal. If you want to see the one more metal in this division A1, you go to the button, you click the button next detail. So this is how you go. This is how you navigate across the levels or within a particular level. Okay. So this is how you create the planning data. So all your planning data is created. Okay. So we are here basically. We are here. We entered the data, and data got distributed to the down levels automatically. Here, the drill down you will do like this. If you want to go to the next level, you will be clicking on this button. Okay. If you want to move within a particular level, you will be clicking on. You will be clicking on these buttons. Across the level, if you want to see the data, you will be clicking on these buttons. If you want to move across the levels, you will be clicking on these buttons. Okay, so that's how you do. So now your planning data is ready now. Your planning data is ready. I'm saving this. Okay, your planning data is now ready in the version 001. Now I'll copy this planning data to the active version. Next step is active version management. So from the simulation version, inactive version, I'm copying these to active version. Okay. So the transaction code is MC8V, copy planning version MC8V. So go to the transaction MC8V /MC8V. Copy planning version. What is your information structure? S888. Enter. Where is your data currently at present? It is at 001, inactive version, and your target version is always A00. Okay. Enter your. Okay, and then you enter your period time frame, and then you just click on the copy button. So now the data from this 001 get copied to your active version A00. Click on the button, copy, enter. you will get that same message yesterday you got. Before copying takes place, target version A00 reset. Yes. So now your data got get copied to the active version. Okay. Now once that is done, the final step will be you will be transferring your planning data to demand management. Okay. You will be transferring it to your demand management. That means from planning to production, you are transferring it to planning to production. Okay. So the transaction code is MC90. So go to MC90, enter. Okay, transfer planning data to demand management. Enter your material. Here the problem is the limitations we have it in this flexible planning is you have to transfer your data for each material separately. That is one of the biggest limitations of this flexible planning. Okay, so what are our materials first? Just 1 minute. What is our planning hierarchy? MC63 will go to. Just give me 1 minute. What are our materials? PP chilled, this one, right? Just give me 1 minute. I'll make some other settings. MD04. Let's go to MD04. System is taking a lot of time. Yeah, okay. So you have MRP type as X0, right? Just give me 1 minute. Okay, now for this product, now if you go to MD04 stock requirement list, now there is some stock is there, 10 kg. Of course there is a customer order is there, but you don't have any forecast over here. You don't have any forecast. Okay, now when I transfer the planning data from SOP to demand management, you will be able to see the forecast, production forecast. So let's transfer that. Let's go to that screen. Okay, what is this? Is my material. Enter your plant. Okay, enter your information structure. This is our information structure. And where is our data currently? In the active version A00. Enter A00 UG. Okay, now select your key figure. Which key figure you want to transfer? Production data. That you select. Okay, now enter the period. Okay, and then you enter your requirement type. Okay, what is this requirement type? What is this LSF? What is the 00? We'll discuss tomorrow's class. Demand management. Okay. Front end transfer. So just deselect invisible. This invisible transfer. Okay. As of now, I want to do front end transfer. So deselect that one. Just click on. Now you got the what's your record. Now you save it. Now you will be able to just in the MD04 screen. So your data is transferred. So now if you go to MD04 screen, if you refresh, you will be able to see month-wise production forecast. To do the transfer to the planning data. Only the limitation here is you have to do it material wise. For each and every material you have to do this planning transfer, this data transfer. Okay, so that is flexible. Okay, only the major difference between standard SOP and flexible planning as per our requirement. And structure, everything will be created. Somebody is recording it, right? Can you stop recording? Can you stop recording now? Who is recording? Tripti, are you recording? Hello? Recording?
Hello.
Yeah, are you recording?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm recording the session.
Just now stop recording. Now just stop recording.